The 90s trends seem to finally have died down, but it looks like 2000 trends have been making a comeback in its place. Despite that decade being labelled as incredibly corny, Gen Z have now deemed it cool. For older generations, Y2K might look like the past, but for Gen Z, it's a futuristic tech-forward dream. The noughties saw people excited about the future of technology, a feeling that's just as present today. The 2000s offer a digital nostalgia, a nostalgic view of the modern world, despite being a little bit of a mess fashion-wise. Does anyone else remember dresses over jeans and ridiculous layering? So it's really not a surprise that the Y2K style of today has been revamped by Gen Z, by mixing contemporary fashion with retro futurism. Just look at Juicy Couture's comeback in the last few years. But it's important to acknowledge that black women pioneered those iconic brands, and today's Y2K looks are emulating women like Lil' Kim rather than the likes of Paris Hilton. Musically, artists like Rina Sawayama and Pink Pantheress have made the Y2K aesthetic a part of both their sound and their image. The early noughties saw a rise in the computer-generated sounds of electronic and pop music, which have been reflected in today's sounds. And while TLC used a talking android as a replacement for Left Eye, we now have full-on AI musicians like Michaela. Nonetheless, Cyber Y2K may be first given the simplistic interpretation as nostalgia, and yes, that does factor into it. But for us in Gen Z, it's so much more than that. When thinking of our contemporary digital age, it's only the 2000s that can offer similar guidance. The tech utopian style of the past generation is now being used as a template on how to move forward in this digitally wired world.